Hello everybody and welcome to this new place I'm in. I moved, which is thrilling. I haven't really done much with decorations since I moved in, just like the essentials, though. So today we will be exploring how one of the most popular and admired songwriters of the last 60 years turned into your rambling conspiracy uncle at Thanksgiving. Now here at Power Chords, we don't like to unfairly criticize anyone's work here. In my opinion, if there's nothing hurtful about it and there's clearly effort being put in to make it, I respect it. However, sometimes people do something so dumb and bad that we all have to gather around the table for a nice roast. Now, you guys probably already know Van Morrison from his mega hit Brown Eyed Girl, and if you don't, I don't know what rock you just crawled out from under, but it's in the links below, feel free to check it out. While you may only know him from that particular song, Van has released a ton of music between the years of 1968 to right now, only a few weeks ago, which is the album we'll be talking about today. He has released 40 studio albums, which is that's a lot of albums. His very first album, Astral Weeks, is still considered his very best work, and it was actually rated by Rolling Stone as one of the best albums of all time. Now, between these albums, Van has, of course, toured regularly with either just himself or with a group, until the world ended a short while ago and live music was put on hold. Now, before I go on, I just want to say that, this year has been really hard for everyone. For musicians, we fell in the group of people whose job basically ceased to exist. So a lot of us use this as an opportunity to try other things, and yeah, lockdown has made us do some pretty weird stuff. But Van chose a slightly different coping mechanism than the rest of us. Unless your coping mechanism is to write a 28-track tirade album. In that case, then you guys are very similar. Now, before we get into the album itself, we have to discuss what Van's been up to this year. Even though travel was very difficult for a lot of us, it did not stop Van from getting a one-way ticket to Crazy Town. Last year, during the height of the lockdown, he released 3 tracks: Born to Be Free, As I Walked Out, and No More Lockdown. I wonder what those songs are about, so subtle, like getting hit by a truck. Now, sadly for Van, and also for us, I can't even say that these songs, despite being a bad message, they're at least good, they're catchy. They're kind of not, unfortunately. The lyrics are rambling, but also the music itself is repetitive and predictable. I'm sorry, Van. It hurts me to see you like this. One of my favorite moments of these 3 tracks is the spectacularly ironic line in No More Lockdown. No more lockdown. No more pulling the wool over our eyes. No more celebrities telling us what we're supposed to feel. You're absolutely right. We really should stop listening to all these famous actors and musicians. Now, sadly, this is only the beginning of Van's aluminum foil hat DIY. Unfortunately, Eric Clapton is involved in this next one, and I was also really sad to hear that Eric Clapton has apparently been involved in all kinds of heinous things, so this apparently is just par for the course. So they released a song last December called Stand and Deliver. Like the other 3 that Van released, it's a basic blues song with some dumb lyrics telling us not to be sheeple or whatever. I can't play any of these songs just 'cause copyright, but if you guys feel like checking them out, I've put them all in the bio down below, if that sounds fun to you. Now, the proceeds to these 4 songs all went to Van's Lockdown Financial Hardship Fund, which he started last year to support musicians. If you're eligible, you can apply for a £500 grant, which sounds pretty heavy. Yeah. I'll be here all week, folks. As I'm sure you can imagine, the fund was completely overrun with applications, and they had to shut it down last November, but with plans to reopen it in early 2020. Now, of course, it is almost halfway through 2021, that's insane. I just realized, man. We're already halfway through this year. I'm not even close to finishing that watch through of Supernatural. Now, I think this plan for a fund is wonderful. A lot of musicians and theaters are really, really struggling right now, and any plan to give relief to those people is a welcome and very kind idea. There was, and still is, this big fear that a lot of institutions for sharing live music, like theaters or schools, aren't going to make it through this. And Van has been quoted several times saying that socially distanced gigs aren't economically viable. And while that's certainly true, I'm not quite sure why Van is pushing this kind of fear-based narrative that this is the end. I mean, we're gonna get back to full theaters eventually, just not now. And Van, not all of us have a big net worth to fall back on when times get hard. As a live performer myself, my colleagues and I had to look for different ways to express ourselves. And we still found ways to share music. And Van, so did you, man. But he really wants to make sure that we know that he doesn't approve of these socially distant concerts he's giving. He's not complying, he's just agreeing with the ground rules laid out for him so we can all just get through this. Oh, I'm tired, Van. Now, Van has been quoted as saying, "I'm not telling people what to do or think. The government is doing a great job of that already. It's about freedom of choice. I believe people should have the right to think for themselves." And I get it, man. You just want people to choose how to live their lives. But the last time I watched any movies about anything like this, quarantining and removing oneself from sick people is the thing that we've kinda done forever. But you know what? You're right. I should be able to lick doorknobs at Target, damn it. Yeah! Why won't the government let me eat uranium? In the words of the Great H Bomber guy, let's not confuse ignorance with skepticism. But look, you guys don't come to mama for basic critical thinking skills. We still got an album to review, baby! So Van was clearly already riding high on this crusade against things he can't control. So he decided to release an album about all the things he doesn't like about our society, because
we live in a society.
So just a few weeks ago, our man Van released Latest Record Project Volume 1, which is 28 tracks long. That is 2 hours of my life I'm never getting back. Not surprisingly, it's a blues album, and it's not a particularly daring one, and I really don't mean that as a dig. I mean, it sounds the way, if you imagine a blues album in your head, it sounds like that. If you like the blues, you'll probably like how this album sounds. And what's kind of sad about that is when I listened to the album and then started doing all my research for this video, it turns out that that's kind of the last thing Van thought he was doing here. He released a statement specifically saying that this was him trying something new. So the music isn't changing anyone's lives. The lyrics, however, is where stuff started getting really weird. Weird enough for Variety to write an entire article about it. Now, if you just glance down the track list, you already start to see that some of it kind of reads like those Minion memes your aunt shares about how iPhones are ruining democracy. But when you start to listen, there are some songs on here that are genuinely concerning. The songs that got a fair amount of media attention are the ones like They Run the Media, Western Man, and Psychoanalyst Ball. Now, these are like a smorgasbord. Is that how you say that? Is it Borg? Smorgasbord. With a D? There's a lot going on. It's your classic problematic conspiracy mess saying that others stole things from the Western Man, or him taking this weird dig at self-care and therapy, which I don't really understand that one. But the track They Run the Media got a fair amount of attention for its clear anti-Semitic trope. Now, while the song never actually specifies who they are, this is a common conspiracy that one shadowy group, particularly Jewish people, are somehow running all of Western media. It's one that groups like QAnon have been pushing for a while. And in the words of this Inside Hook article, even if it's not relying on old anti-Semitic stereotypes, the idea that any singular group of people owns the media is a dangerous myth. Van, why'd you write a song knocking Facebook when that's obviously where you get all your news? Now, after all that criticism, I want to be clear that it was not all bad. I found one song that I liked, and it's called It's Only a Song. The lyrics were really nice. He talked about penguins and poetry, and how words can change, and songs can change meaning as time goes on. And the saxophone solo was really cool. It also had this nice bouncy summery vibe that took me right back to Brown Eyed Girl, or These Are the Days. What is kind of a bummer is that in the broader context of this song being included in this album, it's a bit strange. This song is about how, oh, it's just a song, it's just what's going through my mind at the time, when in all the other tracks he's laying down some pretty serious allegations or just general bitterness. So then when I listen to this cute little song again, it kind of makes me feel like it's almost him saying, hey, don't get mad, it's just a joke. I don't know what's going on here, Van. I do like that you put penguins in your album. That did subvert my expectations. So in the end, with this huge mess, honestly, it just makes me sad. There wasn't much about it that recalled the Van that we all grew to love. And I understand that he wants to reinvent himself in this new stage of his career, but the path he's decided to go down makes him sound like nothing other than just an angry, bitter guy. In track number 8, called Big Lie, he says, I was just making hay, they hung on to every word, oh yes they did, that I had to say. When I turned around, someone stole my crown, it was all a big lie. Van, baby, angel, are you okay? Look, dude, I live in a neighborhood that you love a lot. And from where I'm standing, your influence has gone nowhere. Is this what all of this is about? Are you starting to feel obsolete? Regardless of what it is, Van does seem to be going through something, as we all are right now. In the last track of the album, called Jealousy, it's just this one last jab at the sheeple, saying that he's not with the mob and everyone who criticizes him is just jealous. Which just sounds like a middle school argument. You know, Van, sometimes as musicians especially, we should listen to criticism. It makes us grow as people and artists. And further, you're a 2-time Grammy winner, buddy. You are embraced fully by the system, so I'm not quite sure what the mob is that you're rebelling against, other than just wanting to drink beer without a mask on. It seems like he's mourning the perceived loss of his influence, while also trying to make us think that he was never really a part of it. And it's clearly leading him to this very bitter place. Hey Van, maybe you should talk to someone. Oh wait, you don't want to do that. So Van, since you're clearly against therapy, there are a lot of ways to digest this huge monumental life event that we're all experiencing right now. It's hard to feel like things are out of our control, and you can talk to your friends or your family. You can also express yourself through music. But what bothers me more than anything is when I see celebrities with massive platforms who have access to the best medical care in the world telling fans who admire and love them that they should be taking gambles with their own well-being, fully knowing that we don't have the same means as they do. That I have a huge problem with. In the words of a once great lyricist, no more celebrities telling us what we're supposed to feel. I'm very bad at guitar.